Hey YouTube, Untamed here. So in front of me we have a 2022 Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. In that, of course, brand new color for 2022, Solar Octane. And I gotta tell you guys, this is my first time seeing it in person. I've seen plenty of videos, plenty of photos. I'm talking hundreds at this point. But there is something about it. There is something so stunning about this color in person. And I purposely kind of parked it in the dark here so you can kind of get the shaded color, but at the same time I'll walk around here and I'll show you the bits within the sunlight that really just make this Solar Octane pop. It has a level of metallic flake in it that just, it really is a beautiful color. So I wanted to start with that. It's my first time seeing this color. You guys know for a fact that I've driven one of these for about a week. Toyota sent me a press vehicle once before, and it did leave me a little underwhelmed, if I'm being honest with you guys. And I hate saying that. You guys know I love Toyota. I'm a huge Toyota enthusiast. I love the brand. But I can't help but feel like they missed the mark a little bit by not offering that V8 option. And I've never been that person who has always touted no replacement for displacement. I do believe that you can make better options with a smaller displacement engine. I'm a firm believer of that. And this is an example of it, truly, right? So it is a twin turbo V6, 3.5 liter V6 with that hybrid battery pack slapped underneath the rear passenger seat there. We all have heard that before. The numbers that it produces is pretty astonishing, right? We got 437 horsepower with 583 foot-pounds of torque, which is incredible. It truly is, which is far superior than the 381 horsepower and 401 foot-pounds of torque of the previous generation with that 5.7 liter V8. So there is no denying it that this is by far the superior vehicle, superior truck. It's just it, and I hate saying it out loud, especially here at a Toyota event that they invited me out to. I feel like I gotta hype it up a little bit, but if we're being honest with each other, guys, it's just lacking something, and it's like lacking a raw visceral feel that 5.7 liter provided, and not even just that. Of course, the V8 with the dual TRD catback exhaust that the previous generation had was amazing. It sounded glorious. It goes beyond that, I think. You know, when you get inside this, we'll hop inside here in a second. It feels like they were trying to really shoot for the stars with this one, and they fell short. And perhaps I'm a bit biased because I've had a Ford Raptor before with the twin turbo V6, and I've experienced that and their caliber of interior, whereas this does feel like a sea of plastic still, which, of course, the previous generation did too. The previous generation was even more plasticky, if we're being honest, right? But just, you can tell that they tried to up the mark a lot, and I think they just missed, unfortunately. Would that prevent me from buying it? That's the question. You guys know I'm a TRD Pro nut, and there's a really good chance that I will end up buying one of these. And I honestly don't know. I think I will consider getting the Sequoia TRD Pro just because of the space, right? It'll allow us to fit our growing family with 4 kiddos comfortably. But again, we still have the same power plant in the Sequoia TRD Pro. So I'm kind of back and forth on it. I do think it will be a good option for us, but I just wonder, I don't know, I am left feeling a little disappointed with a couple things with this one. That's all. So I'll show you some of the things I do like rather than being a negative Nancy the whole time. So I do like this camo, digital camo on the fender flares. You get it on the back tailgate as well. I think that looks good. I'm a fan of the headlights. I think that looks great. They're definitely a sleek design, and there's no second guessing what vehicle this is, in my opinion. I think they look awesome. The front grille, I think it would have been better if they didn't drop into the black right here. I mean, I think the Sequoia does look better. It looks less of a Fu Manchu, less of a mustache. But I do think these look pretty sleek too. The hood vents here, of course, on each of the sides. I have become a fanboy of the fake hood scoops, which I used to hate those. So here you hear the things that I dislike about this. They're probably going to be the same things that I love 2 or 3 years down the road. So what I'm telling you is try to be open-minded, and perhaps our views and perspectives can change over time, of course, after we experience it. These are some BBS forged aluminum wheels, 18-inch, with some Falcon Wild Peak tires. A lot of people rant and rave over these tires being excellent performers, so they definitely have a great reputation. I've always gravitated to the BF Goodrich KO2s and Nitto Ridge Grapplers, as you guys know. And we still had the TRD tuned Fox suspension there. So matte black. I don't think I've ever really paid much attention to that, but matte black finish on the mirrors. Kind of nice. Tell me what you think about this. The black, yeah, just like the black, what is that, black paint, or no, it's a decal. Interesting. So this is actually a black decal. So I think you could remove that, hypothetically, I imagine. That's interesting. So, and I'll double check to make sure that this is not a pre-production model. It could be. I'm not seeing the tag anyway, so I think this is a production model. So you got the digital camo interior, which I think looks great in black. I'm a big fan of this. The red was a little too much for my personal liking, although the red, it went okay with the black, if I'm being fair. But I would definitely opt for this black leather interior, which looks great. But as you get into it, and you really start dissecting and looking at things, you start questioning the quality of the materials for sure. Although it looks fantastic, just as you start touching it, I don't know, it does feel very plasticky in places. Which again, I don't think it'd be an issue had they not rose the price so much between last year's generation. What is this? 68,000 some change is the MSRP for the TRD Pro, roughly. Don't totally quote me, but the last MSRP for the 2021 was right around 54,000, give or take 1,000, how you spec'd it, right? So that's a big price jump. So you can tell that they tried to really jump it up into the next tier. Pano sunroof, which is neat. I think that's awesome. I think that was maybe a long overdue option, but if you're serious about off-roading, I think a lot of off-roading enthusiasts would advocate to not get that. It's just one more thing to rattle loose or to break. Here's our bed here, kind of like that composite material which you would find in the Toyota Tacoma. I'm not going to test my luck here. I think we should clear it just fine. But right here is your button release, your tailgate release. A little hidden party trick. I think the taillights look pretty cool. A sleek design. It's definitely unique, I would say. The TRD Pro, I'm back and forth on it, guys. I think I like it. I think I'll chalk it up to a positive, especially if you get some black inserts in there. I think I would prefer that. It is teetering toward too big, though. I think in the bottom right would look better. And one more time, kind of down the side, you can see the body lines there, which look good, but I would argue that the overall stance and just the lines throughout the previous generation were a little sleeker, a little bit better. So let's hop in. I'll show you a couple more things. So as you jump in, you immediately notice, like I was hinting at, you immediately notice, let me give you a better view here, excuse me. Maybe not, okay. So just as you feel like the steering wheel itself, I can't help but feel like this is chintzy. That should not have been placed in the TRD Pro trim, in my opinion. The steering wheel itself feels nice, perforated leather. The red strip up top, I think that's nice too. I mean, it's kind of matching with what the Ford Raptor did, of course. But as far as the rest of the interior, like hard plastic up top, we'll fire it up. There's your giant TRD red button. And gosh, I told myself as I started making this video that I was gonna speak so poorly about it. You know, I'm at a Toyota press event, but they were very gracious to invite me to this. But as I started up, you hit the power button, foot on the brake, hit the power. It's like 3, 4 seconds before the engine even fires up. So you press a button in any other vehicle, it would just, fires up. But when you press a button in this, there's 1, 2, 3, then it starts up. It's just weird. It's a strange pause that I think should not be the case. So I won't dissect the infotainment. I'm not going to bore you to death with this entire bit here, but I do like seeing it. Is refreshing to see a bigger screen in here. I think we were long overdue for that. Granted, personal opinion, personal preferences, less is more, especially when we're talking Toyota. So the more tech, the more digital displays that we have in here, it's just more things that could potentially go wrong. But at the end of the day, guys, that is what a manufacturer warranty will cover you, right? So I mean, the vehicle's manufacturer warranty is gonna cover and fix all the bugs and all the kinks that is gonna take place within this vehicle, especially with it being a brand new model year, the 2022. There is for sure going to be kinks, as there was with the previous generation Tundra. So I want to remind myself, to be fair, too. We had the cam tower leaks within the previous Tundra. What else off the top of my head? There was a couple other, to some, perhaps even serious issues with that previous Tundra. So I need to be fair to some degree, but I would never recommend buying the first model year of a new generation total redesign, especially with a new power plant with this twin turbo V6 hybrid variant. So that's my personal opinion. In my opinion, I think you become almost like the test guinea pig, the beta phase for the vehicle, because there's going to be issues that nobody knows about, to include Toyota, until you experience them. What have we got up here? It's got for your rear. Oop, that's not a good look for you. Brought down your rear window and now up. So this is up and down, and then just by pulling it back here is when we actually get it to open up. And if you hit it again, I think it goes to pull them out. Yep. So kind of cool. The Toyota badge over here, when we had the press vehicle for 1 week, Mrs. Untamed did not like that whatsoever, but I do. I think this is a kind of a cool touch. I mean, that is a very, I don't know, I mean, there's purposely trying to be, I don't know, it's not trying to be like fancy by any means, it's just like paying homage to the historical Toyotas, I think. This is that heritage name, that font text that I think looks pretty cool. You get that little orange, red, I'm colorblind, but you get that orangish red inside liner of each of the letters, which looks good. This material itself has a textured feel to it, just a heads up, but I think that looks okay, especially with it being black. The test model that we had, the press vehicle that we had before, was red, and this is all red, and it is just in your face if you're sitting over here. So I could see this being an issue, truly. But a flat top, great visibility across the dash here, so I think this is impressive. Just all around, it is very nice. The stitching in the seats, I'm on board with that. I think that looks good, and the red stitching throughout is a nice touch. How does this work in? Yeah, that's right. It's got a top, a mini holder where you can throw maybe some pens, things that you can hear slide around just ever so slightly with every turn to drive you insane in the membrane. You can do that. And gosh, there it is. Here is your very large cargo space with, I don't know what the heck is in here, but plenty of stuff is within here. So I like that. Always love the fact that trucks have a very large center console. I think that's good. You get your wireless charging tray for your phone there, which is very large, so you can throw your modern iPhones in there and it'll do just fine. The electronic e-brake, parking brakes, I have a hard time grasping that, but I guess the more I talk, the more I feel old school. I just prefer a manual e-brake or even a foot e-brake for a truck. There's your steering wheel itself with all your controls. So pretty straightforward, guys. All right, so I'm gonna hop out. I'll show you with the lights on here, and we'll wrap up the video. So I think big picture, guys, I admit I've been a little harsh on the 22 Tundras. And no, I'm not trying to be nice because I'm at a Toyota event. I would still very much prefer the V8, and I do still think it's a big miss that they didn't offer at least a V8 option within this generation with this redesign. But at the end of the day, this really is going to be a phenomenal vehicle for so many people. I think the average American is going to love this, right? So performance-wise, it has all the numbers and stats you need. It's going to deliver on all your towing capabilities, all your hauling, anything that you're going to need, truly. Unless you're a farmer and you need the F-250 or whatever, this truly is going to meet your needs. When it comes to the rear cargo space, that's one thing I didn't mention. That is a gripe of mine. I do think it is a little bit smaller back here, and I think that was a huge plus of the previous generation. You guys tell me what your thoughts are, especially you 22 Tundra owners who came from the previous generation, Tundra. What is your honest thoughts of that transition? Do you notice a smaller cabin? And just overall, I mean, what are your opinions of it? So I'll wrap up the video there, guys. Sorry, I kind of rambled quite a bit in this one. Tell me what your thoughts are. Would you consider getting a 22 or 23 Tundra TRD Pro? And what are your thoughts on Solar Octane? Appreciate you watching. Till next time.